Trauma. I feel I'm dealing with trauma. A trauma has been caused by a group of people. A rather large group of people. Whether it be the Brexiters in the UK, or over the other side of the water, causing mischief. MAGA. Make America great again. Am I supposed to forgive and forget the trouble that they have caused and causing? Because quite frankly, you voted for, in both cases, a shit demon. We all make mistakes, don't we? Yeah, of course we do. Well, unfortunately, some mistakes are easy to, how to put it, rectify. And some mistakes are not. And voting for the shit demon, Donald Trump, or Brexit, are two mistakes that have proved to be impossible, well, as far as Brexit's concerned, impossible to rectify. They tell us we've got to honour the vote, they say. Democracy, they say. Well, look what's happening in the United States, I say. It is not a democracy anymore. There is no First Amendment anymore. They're happy with freedom of speech as long as they agree with you. How free is that? They want to beat you down into servitude, where you're easy to control, to be malleable. Well, I'm sure every one of us can recall times when our judgment was temporarily impaired, when our emotions betrayed us in the moment of a weakness or fear, or even misplaced anger. For the Brexiters, it was sovereignty. For the MAGA, it was a multitude of different arguments, all based around feelings and sentiment that was forced upon them by those who wanted to, well, sell that old snake oil. For those in the UK with Brexit, it was Nigel Farage, snake oil salesman. And those in the United States, you had Donald Trump. His modus operandi predominantly was to stay out of jail. And now that he has, he's going full on revenge. He is going to literally destroy your country. Step by step by step. If they don't blow themselves up first. Since they got rid of all the safety workers for nuclear missiles. Sounds very sensible. Not. But if we look in the old rear view mirror, I suppose, we can clearly see those moments when we chose rather horribly, whether it be in marriage or whether it be at the ballot box. We find ourselves ashamed, maybe a tad embarrassed even, to realise what we had done. We stick our head in the sand. We don't want to talk about it. We hold it inside. But such regret is actually quite universal as it is. The desire to escape culpability, you see. Take the blame, own up to it, fess up. Fess up to your mistakes. Unlike Donald Trump, who seems to think he doesn't need to confess, even though he says he's a Christian, because he's never done anything to confess for. Never mind all the, bigotry. What about all the women he's had? Blimey, how is that even possible? Anyway, But there are, there comes times, I suppose, when we run out of excuses, when we can no longer plead ignorance or impulsiveness or having been duped. Can you hear my dog in the background? She's squeaking because he was a treat. Yeah. So, we have all made poor decisions. And we do need to declare our error. In such circumstances, to, I suppose, not to do so would be to willingly repeat the transgression. Well, they did vote for Donald Trump twice, didn't they? Sacked him once and then voted him back in again. Well, I suppose also could be to prove ourselves more committed to perpetuating a lie, perpetuating a lie than admitting, I suppose it's the ugly truth that we see in the mirror, quite frankly. Dear me. See, the thing about Donald Trump is, and people like Nigel Farage, they never accept responsibility. They have never said sorry in their lives and meant it. But you see, there is always a morning of accountability, I suppose, that calls us to face what we've done the night before. Yeah, I got the old bear goggles on. But it's here now. The nation is now being seen in the raking light of honest, sober objectivity. And Donald Trump accumulating a giant, grotesque body of work for Americans to evaluate in this election. His resume crammed with legislative assaults on democracy, dozens of felony convictions, dehumanising, and disinformation. And obviously got immigrants. The gross rally rants about public schools and transgender children. But he's totally apologetic. He has no morals. He has no soul. He's a racist. KKK sympathiser. And the Proud Boys. Oh, there are some good men, apparently. Brazen disregard for anything once seen as, I suppose, the convention and traditions of presidential leadership. We saw that in Boris Johnson. It's all about him. It was all about how he looked. Bloody awful, if you ask me, just like Donald Trump. But even he is nothing in comparison to Donald Trump. Boris Johnson's a minnow of the grift in comparison to Donald Trump. I'll get my grifters in the right order in a minute. That Kamala Harris, you know. Blimey. We will be talking a little bit different, and people will still have their jobs. Now, they were given a clear alternative, weren't they? And it was Kamala Harris. She's a former prosecutor, a very capable woman. Now, where's that the problem? Oh, yeah, and also she's black. Oh, yeah, that's another problem. Yeah, for the racists who voted against her. She was an Attorney General, American Senator. A very successful woman. What's Donald Trump? Well, he's overseen 7 bankruptcies. A 90-odd federal flippin'. Anyway, he's a felon. He's a criminal. He's now the President of the United States. You realise how crazy that sounds? Well, yeah, and also current vice president as well, wasn't she? So, or was vice president. A woman who's got her experience, her character, decency, made her to be one of the most capable candidates of the middle classes for a long time. It really it was, you know. But no, the racists, the bigots didn't want her. Madness, absolute madness. But what have you got now? You've got the shit demon and his controller and the devil, Elon Musk, destroying your country, getting rid of all the federal jobs and agencies and that keep you in work, education, health. For what? So they can have more control over you. They can beat you down, like I said. Beat you down into servitude. Desperate people are easy to control. They always have been. America was given the choice between a lawless, amoral monster and a rather qualified and intelligent and joyful woman of colour. And they chose the monster. They chose the shit demon. Well, I can't keep giving you treats, Pandora. Blimey, that's the last one. You're destroying my chi, you are. My flow. Right, it's hard to remember all this stuff as it is, girl. Dogs, eh? So, I do wonder where we go from here. I really do. They'll have to they cast a vote for them. And they basically declared a war on decency and equality. They scrapped the DEIA. So any sort of semblance of forthrightness or goodness has been deleted. In fact, any reference to the DEI in all its forms have been deleted from the servers. Can't even mention it. Even the word felon. If you say that in the White House, you could end up being criminally charged. Don't know how they're going to do it, mind. It doesn't sound like an offence to me. Now, to witness his absolute disregard for the Constitution, well, something that stood, well, was the grounds for the basis of decency and law, and also kept the government in check, well, such as First Amendment and all freedom of speech. The government must not hamper your freedom of speech. Yet this government, although they say they're all about freedom of speech, but no, they're not. They're literally trying to stop you from being able to speak your mind. And they still keep trying to use that argument, freedom of speech. We saw that with J.D. Vance in NATO. Going on about freedom of speech. And there's still a responsibility, even with freedom of speech. But, they don't say that, do they? It's a useful tool. That's what it is. It's like he's got a violent allergic reaction to facts. It's complete lack of empathy. And to not condemn it all sort of becomes an indictment, I suppose, of one's own heart, and it becomes an act of destruction of humanity. What's happening in Medicaid and healthcare in the United States since Donald Trump has become the president is going to kill people. And that's where I find it morally, obviously it's morally repugnant, but morally I don't feel I could ever support anyone who basically are complicit. The voter who voted for this, voted to allow Donald Trump to literally rip everything up, including your health care. Predominantly, the red states are more dependent on Medicaid, for instance, than the blue states. But he's still whining in the background. You don't have any more? No. Dogs, eh? Well, so for me, I find it really, really quite hard. I don't feel I can forgive and forget. Even though people say you should. Oh, you shouldn't hate on them because you'll never bring them on side. They're going to have to do it off their own back. Never mind what I say. Because they're not going to listen to people like me. They just won't. They won't listen to reason. They won't accept that they made a mistake until they feel the pain. They have to feel the pain. As sad as it might seem, it might mean they can end up losing people, which is horrible. And it's horrible that that is what it's going to take for them to actually wake up. And it still might not be enough. Still might not be enough. People are going to lose their jobs. Those who work in any federal agencies are going to end up losing their jobs. And many of them will be MAGA. And they still won't see that Donald Trump has done anything wrong. They've got to really feel it. They're going to have to start losing their homes. Not be able to make their rent payments. Not be able to pay for their health care. End up losing people. That is what it's going to take for them to wake up. Suicides. Death. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But that is where we are. But trying to just talk them around, I've tried, it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. You cannot reason with stupidity. They won't accept it. You might get the odd one or two, but it won't be enough. So you just got to allow them to basically, destroy themselves. For us in the United Kingdom, it was the majority of the older generation who voted to leave the European Union, and we're just waiting for them to die. Because eventually we'll have a majority of those who want to be in the European Union. In fact, the majority already exists, but the government doesn't see that. But even so, even if we wanted to rejoin or join tomorrow, it would take a very long time because the country is not where it once was. Just like the United States is not like it was before. It's been broken. Your relationships with other countries have been broken. Your relationship with the European Union is shattered. After sending Pete Hegseth and Mr. Kellogg's, Crikey, and J.D. Vance, allowing them to speak, well, then quite frankly, that's it. You're done for as far as the EU is concerned. And don't forget, the EU is a major supplier to the United States. It's crazy. Stupid is as stupid does. Anyway, do you feel that they're going to have to really feel the pain before they accept that Donald Trump isn't really for them? Please leave in the comments down below. I think so. Sad as it might seem. Cruel as well. The really horrible thing is it's not just going to be MAGA that feel the pain. It'll be those who didn't vote for this shit will be feeling it as well. They too will be losing their loved ones because of this shit. Because of Donald Trump. Because of voting for MAGA. This, to be fair, it's going to intensify the divide because we'll be looking for someone to blame, and we'll be blaming those who voted for it. I think MAGA will start watching their backs. To be fair, that I do. It's not just the red states or rednecks that have guns, There are 400 million guns in the United States. Crazy. Anyway, you want to support Johnny, do it on Patreon or buy us coffee, and the links down below. But please comment, maybe share my videos. Toodaloo.